starts now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, back in 2010, the economy was in a poor state. The general election resulted in a hung parliament. Labour and Conservatives both risked governing as a minority, and there was the possibility of a second election. As we know, the Liberal Democrats went into coalition with the Conservatives, feeling it important to work together for Britain. Things haven't been easy as the junior partners. Coalition means give and take. However, we have seen around 75% of our 2010 manifesto delivered. These include raising the lower threshold for paying income tax. We promised 10,000 and it's now 10.5. A triple lock guarantee on pensions, shared parental leave, a pupil premium for education, free school meals, increased use of renewable energy and established the Green Investment Bank, created over 2 million apprenticeships, ended the detention of children for immigration purposes and pushed for extra NHS funding. We've also stopped the Conservatives from introducing measures like scrapping the Human Rights Act and housing benefit for under 25s and increasing NHS privatisation. We'd like to continue the work we've been doing. We've a record of delivery in government and promise you more. 8 billion towards the NHS, particularly investment in mental health services and services for children and young people, supports for carers in social care, additional raising of the lower income tax threshold, 5 green laws to protect nature and fight climate change, protecting the education budget and increase free childcare, deposits for young people to rent a home and rent to buy schemes. I believe our manifesto is a blueprint for a stronger economy and a fairer society, offering opportunities for everyone to get on in life, to balance the books,
Thank you very much,
schools,
Jackie. And Malcolm, hang on, let me just get my time sorted out. Your time starts now.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's really nice to be here. Just to briefly introduce myself, I was born over at Ayr Hospital. I grew up in Gloucester, and then I went over to South Craven School, and I'm now working as a self-employed architect. And one of the nice things about being a candidate in an election is the great range of people that you get to meet. And I was over in Ripon Market last Saturday, and a chap came over to me and he said, all those politicians, they're all liars, all of them. And I thought, oh dear. And he said, they're all the same, they're all in it for themselves. And then he went on and he said, and those local authorities, massive inefficiencies everywhere. And I thought, well, this is not going very well. And then he finished off by saying, but I always vote Labour. I have to say, what is striking to a lot of people at the moment is the patent unfairness of a lot of the things that we see around us today, and a lot of the things that have been going on these last 5 years. We see great cuts to our local public services, and at the same time, the Tories and Lib Dems have given a tax cut to those on the highest incomes. We see the super rich getting ever richer, whilst at the same time we've got millions of children living in poverty. We see some of the biggest companies avoiding corporation tax. 1 in 5 pay no corporation tax whatsoever, whilst small businesses are struggling whilst playing by the proper rules. It's a situation where we really do, in this country at the moment, have one rule for the rich and one rule for everybody else. So I'd like to say to you that the Labour Party, if it gets into government, is going to take on these big vested interests. It's going to tackle the tax avoidance because its values are fairness, compassion and community. And what I'd like to say to you all today is please stand by these values too and support us. Thank you.
With the 5 seconds spare as well. Andy Brown, Green Party, your time starts now, sir.
Okay, I've lived in Connolly, just the other side of Skipton, for the last 20 years. I made my living as a further education lecturer, working my way up to the Deputy Principal at Keighley College and then Head of Hillsborough College before becoming Regional Director of Young People's Learning for Yorkshire and the Humber. And I'm standing for the Green Party for 3 reasons, really. The environment, the economy and war and peace issues. I'll probably just have time to discuss the environment. And I'd like you to think about one thing. There are 7 billion people on this planet, and there will be 10 billion before very long. Those people are getting richer at a rate of 5% every year, average. All those people wanting their fridge, wanting their washing machine, wanting their motorbike and then their car, burning fossil fuels, which has created for us a situation where we've pumped more CO2 into the air already than has ever been present since human beings, and indeed primates, have been on the planet. We are running an unpredictable experiment with the environment, and with some time we have to stop. And we can change the technology. We don't have to cover the whole countryside in wind farms. That's something I'm opposed to. I want them put in the right places. What we can do is cut consumption of electricity if we invest. The nation that first gets serious about the need to move to a new era of technology will be the nation which is successful economically. The longer we leave doing that, the more it will cost to do. And the longer we leave doing that, the higher the risk that somebody else will get at the front end of the cutting edge of technology. Look at the amount Germany is investing in renewable energies, and think about being left behind yet again. So I would say the environment absolutely critical to the whole success of the economy and the real long-term economic problem we need to fix.
Thank you very much, Andy. Alan, your time starts now.
Good evening. They say confession is good for the soul, but bad for your career. So here goes. I've lived in the constituency for over 20 years in Bishopfont, which is near Ripon, and I run 3 businesses over there. One in recruitment, one in renewable energy, and one which has art charities at its centre. I started work at 16, and I've been pretty much working ever since. I never felt the need to be involved in politics before I came across UKIP, frankly, the reason I got involved with UKIP was I realised I was fed up with the lies, the deceit, the half-truths, and really a breakdown in democracy. And I told a number of people that I knew how I felt, and they said, well, if you feel so strongly, you should do something about it. And here I am today, some years later. I think it's time for major change in UK politics and how things are conducted and how things are done. There are far too many excuses as to why this can't be done, that's somebody else's department, this is someone else's problem, and far too solutions which people can provide. There's a distinct lack of what I would call common sense. And common sense is something I believe I have quite a bit of, and in fact, throughout my life, I've typically found that common sense has held me in good stead. I believe it's time to look at the control of our borders, and I realise many of you may not agree, but I hope to tell you why as we move through the evening. To stop a drain on our health, our housing, our education, and our transport systems, which are heavily burdened. I think it's time to invest in the defence of our country and our heroic armed services. And hopefully, with a bit of time, I'll be able to tell you more later.
Thank you, Alan. Julian, the time starts now.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's lovely to be back here in Settle and to see so many familiar faces, some who I've worked with on different cases, some who have actually worked with my team, and many of you who have met on different meetings and meetings actually in this very place. I've been your MP for 5 years. As you may remember, I had a small company before I became an MP. And in 2010, I committed to representing this most beautiful part of England, probably the most rural, or third or fourth most rural constituency in England, a northern constituency, as strongly and as robustly as I could, both at Westminster and beyond. And I hope, however you vote, whatever your political views, that you feel that after 5 years, whether it's been getting broadband speeds, I know we've not quite got there, but I've been running a campaign for quicker broadband, sorting out the bus issues between Settle and Skipton, not yet completed, but better than they were when Pennine collapsed. Helping to bring the Tour de France here, and getting a big focus on investment, whether it's on education, £1 million to Craven College, millions of pounds to other schools in Craven, and the £7.5 million A&E facility at Airedale. I hope you feel that I have been true to my word of fighting for this constituency. I've also been a loyal and committed supporter of David Cameron, because the situation we found ourselves in 2010 was we were spending £400 million a day on debt interest. We had rising inequality, rising poverty figures, and we have set in place a long-term plan to address those issues and to ensure we get Britain back on track. And it's that issue of the economy and the strength of our economy which is key to the next election on the 7th of May.
Thank you very much, Julian.